Welcome to Airborne Unlimited, coming to you from EAA AirVenture 2022 at Whitman Regional Airport. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Coming up on our program today, it's for real. Van's RV-15 shows up at Oshkosh. Aspen Avionics updates us on new offerings. Able Flight enables new aviators. Those stories and more coming up on this AirVenture 2022 special edition of Airborne Unlimited. One of the biggest attractions at Oshkosh 2022 is the very first appearance of the high-winged RV-15, and since it showed up, flyers have been flocking to see it for themselves.
We've gone through the process since we made that announcement last year of finishing the design and building the airplane and getting it in the air and flying it through the test period and flying it here to AirVenture and putting it on the booth, and we're really excited about the new airplane. You know, we've been flying it back in Oregon for a while at the factory, and we got to fly it here, and yesterday we got to unveil it in front of everybody, and we had a huge crowd of people, and it was pretty exciting, and engineers are having a great time getting sunburnt sitting around the airplane and explaining over and over again to people some of the really cool features that are part of this airplane. The airplane has a 36-foot wingspan. It's a big wing compared to anything else we've made. It has great big flaps. I've seen it take off in well under 400 feet a whole bunch of times, right? It lands nice and short. It has a really nice, fairly benign stall. Axel Alvarez is our professional test pilot. He's the only one that's flown it. And everything that he said is that it's a great flying airplane and that, you know, it performs really well. I can tell you, I've watched the thing climb, and even at a low manifold pressure, in order to keep the speed down where we wanted it in some early test phases, it was going up like a rocket ship. It's just an elevator. So the whole goal is to get the airplane to be as fast as we can possibly make it, and the target is 140 knots. And then also to get it so that it can take off at as short a distance as possible and land at as short a distance as possible and still meet that overall design requirement for total performance. You know, we want you to be able to get there pretty darn quick. We want you to be able to get in and out of the spots that you want to go with this airplane, and we're really encouraged with what we've seen so far. But we anticipate that the first kits will be available. We don't know which kit that'll be. Most likely maybe a tail or a wing, but that would be available sometime in the 12 to 18 month time frame. But that's an estimate, right? It's not a commitment or a guarantee, because what could happen between now and then, if we need to make changes and refinements, we're not going to release kits on a specific timeline that we announce a year and a half ahead of time. We're going to release the kits when it's ready to go and when it's right. So Ryan Johnson's our chief engineer, and he's the president of the company, and he always likes to let a little something loose, I think, you know, a little bit of something. So he did say something about the next one. We were asked a question, you know, will we do another high wing airplane? And I think the answer was that's pretty darn likely. Right, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I know what it is, but it'll be interesting in the future to be able to talk about what that airplane is as well.
Aspen Avionics joined ANN for a quick report on how their Aero Group adoption is proceeding, as well as some cool new offerings for the Aspen Avionics line.
Good morning, John. Second day of Oshkosh. It's been a tremendous lead up to this year for y'all. What's the latest status update on Aspen Aero et al?
Okay, so as we've been talking over the last probably 6 months to a year, that Aspen was part of a combination of a bunch of companies or merged companies to form the Airo Group, and that is, over the last year we've been doing that, and in fact doing all of the necessary paperwork as well as the operational aspects, and we stand here in Oshkosh saying that we're fully merged now and we're a fully operational company as part of the Airo Group with 4 different lines of business between avionics, training, electric air mobility. Those businesses are now fully merged, and that allows us now to operate as a single company, and that's really what we're talking about here at Oshkosh, that is a full company now.
On the Aspen side of things, what's the latest there?
As usual, Aspen continues to develop interfaces and develop more capabilities for our consumers and our general aviation. Our big announcements really are the GFC 600 autopilot interface. As these new digital autopilots are coming out, you're seeing more and more interfaces, and we're working closely with Garmin to provide that to our consumer base this fall. The other thing, of course, is the elimination of backups and vacuum systems. As we've been able to develop technologies and show the reliability of those technologies, we're now able to install our systems with ability to remove backups, and that's both a cost, weight, and safety enhancer because it allows, most importantly, the removal of vacuum pumps, which we all know are the most unreliable parts of aircraft, and that is a big step for our consumer base for safety and for the ability for our consumers to enjoy their flying more.
Able Flight is doing extraordinary work in bringing new aviators into the fold, and we couldn't be more pleased to see them do so.
I love the freedom of flying in an airplane. So I've as a disability, you try and find things that make you as normal as you possibly can be. And it's been really hard, everything that you do pretty much in life, you can't do it the way you used to be able to do it. But flying is one of those things where you're the same as everybody else. Once you're in that airplane, nobody knows you're a paraplegic. Nobody knows you're not using your legs. You're the same as everybody else. The aviation community as a whole is just like the friendliest people you'll ever meet in your life. Like, I've never been to an air show where they weren't very accommodating of my situation, and now seeing it from the perspective of somebody that's actually flown an airplane and actually has the ability to fly an airplane, it's crazy to think about the stuff they do at the altitude they do and the crazy stuff they do. And so I can't wait to see an air show and see people perform now knowing what it takes to fly an airplane. I just want to say thanks to Charles and Able Flight and Purdue. Their program is incredible, and their flight instructors are incredible, and it's pretty cool that all these flight instructors agreed to teach a bunch of people that have varying physical disabilities how to fly an airplane. It says a lot about them, says a lot about their program, and I just want to say thanks.
With Able Flight's support and the wonderful training provided by instructor Parrish Trayweek, I am now not only a pilot, I've become an aircraft owner. But in this moment, on this stage, allow me to be a reminder of the accomplishments of all the Able Flight pilots who have come before me and the many who have come after, and what that really means. These pilots are not only special simply because they have a physical disability, they are special because of their spirit and their willingness to work hard to overcome the challenges they face and to do so at a high level of achievement. I am proud to be a pilot, and I am proud to be an Able Flight pilot. And to the members of the class of 2022, I say welcome to the amazing world of aviation. You've earned it. Now I'll turn it back over to Charles for the pinning of wings of this year's pilots.
So ladies and gentlemen, once again, Able Flight's newest pilots, our class of 2022.
When we come back, let's talk Sun and Fun 2023, big upgrades from Hartzell, and about the Bob Hoover Legacy Foundation.
Watch me as I go, I'm moving on.
Scalebirds is introducing its new line of all-metal replica kit planes with authentic warbird appearance. The Verna Radial Engine P36 and inline P40. Scalebirds gives you sport plane size and performance with head-turning warbird stylings. Order your kit today at scalebirds.com or visit us at Air Venture in the Home Built Exhibitor area.
Tempest Aero Group is a leading general aviation marketing and distribution company that has partnered with some of the best brands in the industry, including Tempest, Alcor, Marvel Schebler, Precision Air Motive, Consolidated Fuel Systems, and Stratus Tool Technologies. These brands represent high-quality aviation components and tools for OEM and aftermarket applications.
Quality, commitment, innovation, and family.
Welcome back to Airborne Unlimited, coming to you from EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. If you've seen something especially cool around Oshkosh today, be sure to let us know on social media using hashtag Osh22Cool. Sun and Fun 2023 is going to be a barn burner. ANN's Maria Morison got the skinny from new Sun and Fun boss Gene Conrad about what we might expect for next year. And hint, hint, it's a lot.
All right, we're here with Gene Conrad, his first Oshkosh as the new president and CEO of the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo. Welcome, Gene. What can we expect for Sun and Fun 2023?
Well, we're excited. It's going to be our 49th annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, March 28th through April 2nd, 2023. And our theme for the 49th annual Aerospace Expo is Capture the Magic of Aviation. So we're excited to obviously welcome our friends and all our visitors and exhibitors and vendors back to our great fly-in. And we're really focused on the customer experience for next year, whether you're driving in or you're flying in, and also the aviation attractions and the whether it's the forums or the speaker series, and just providing a great experience for everybody that's looking to fly in or come visit us during the event.
Awesome. Now, I know you also talked about some changes for the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, a partner there on Lake Linder. Could you tell us about that?
And so we have the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. Next year we'll have 420 students in our high school, which we're super excited about. That's the highest number since the inception of the program. We have great partners in Polk County with the Polk County Public Schools. We just need great folks in our industry, so we've got great partners, and we're going to look to grow and mature our programming as we move forward.
Fantastic. Now, I know that you're growing right into your 50th anniversary. That's a big milestone for you. That's in 2 years. What can people expect to see changes in those next 2 years as you step into your new role?
Really what we're doing is for our 49th annual flying, again, we talked about the customer experience and what's going to happen during the event. We're going to be really focused on tweaking some things, whether it's parking, it's online ticketing. We're going to have online parking so you can purchase your parking prior to coming to the event, which we haven't done in the past. But also we want to be laser focused on what we're doing and how we're conducting our business, because when we get to our 50th fly-in in 2024, which 50 years of any organization or entity to make it that long, kudos to all the great volunteers, all the people that came before me, my team, and all the exhibitors and vendors and all the support we get from sponsors. But we want to really focus on how we conduct our air show this year and get ready for the 50th, because it's going to be a big party.
I'm certainly excited for that. Thank you, Gene.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
The Hartzell line grows again with some impressive news about their future and how they will continue to have a massive impact on the aviation world.
We're here with JJ Frigge and Ryan Latham of Hartzell Aviation, here to talk about the new rebranding of Hartzell Propeller, Hartzell Aerospace Welding, and Hartzell Engine Tech.
It's really an acknowledgement that the three operating companies have really combined now to really stand for three things, and it's all about quality, performance, and support. So we've done some rebranding. We want pilots, we want aircraft owners to know that we stand for those three things. And so Hartzell Propeller is continuing on with our 100-plus year tradition of built on honor. Hartzell Engine Technologies is shortening their name to Hartzell Engine Tech, and AWI is also transitioning to Hartzell Aerospace Welding. For us, we think about business and we try to simplify it. We think about people, process, technology. Well, the built on honor piece is really about people, because the people are the ones building, the people are the ones putting their heart and soul into the products that we make to deliver to our customers. And so you can't build on honor without people making good choices and always thinking about what's the right thing to do. And that's really what it means to me, and that's why we're so excited to bring all three companies under the Hartzell Aviation Built on Honor, because it's really signifying that we all stand not only for Built on Honor, but quality, performance, and support and doing the right thing.
Now, another development here at Oshkosh 22 is the new acquisition by Hartzell Aerospace Welding of Airborne. Could you tell me about that?
It really fits into the core competency of what we're trying to accomplish, master TIG welding for mounts and exhaust systems in the GA community. So it's a great business, a little bit smaller niche. Their focus is in obviously the Canadian market, and they really have a strong foothold in the Alaskan market as well. Together, we're truly the world's largest repair and overhaul center for exhaust systems and engine mounts. Built on honor is it's not just a mantra. Like we truly do believe that and embody that. Between Airborne and AWI, we're really going to accomplish some really neat things going forward in this market.
All right, we're excited to see how Hartzell keeps expanding. Thank you, gentlemen.
Very good.
The Bob Hoover Legacy Foundation is back after some slow times during the pandemic and the tragic loss of a critical leader. But ANN's Jim Campbell is back at the helm with big news about new scholarships for 2023 and the start of the Hoover Society.
We're here with Jim Campbell, the Executive Director of the Bob Hoover Legacy Foundation, to talk about the new scholarships that are being awarded at Sun and Fun. Could you tell us a little bit about those scholarships?
Well, to be perfectly honest, first, it's weird being on this end of the mic this way, but we'll try to fake it and see what happens. No, we had this marvelous conversation last year with John Lights Leanhouse, who's pretty good for a Navy guy, who, of course, ran Sun and Fun up until April 11th of this past year. He volunteered to be the first to re-energize the Bob Hoover Scholarship Program. We're changing the regime a little bit this year in the process of building up something dedicated a little bit more to flight training. It'll be two $10,000 scholarships to start, more to come. But Sun and Fun, and now under Gene Conrad, stepped up in a big way, and we could not be more thrilled.
The other big development for Bob Hoover is the Hoover Society. Could you tell us about the Hoover Society?
Well, it's a new idea. The Hoover Society is the germination of an idea about building an ethical professional backbone through a combination of awards to folks who are doing it right, who may not necessarily be the kind of people who get credit for it, about setting standards for people coming up the ladder, and about providing guidance and education.
So, of course, you've just mentioned that Bob Hoover was a fantastic human being. He was also a fantastic aviator with lots of records and memorabilia. What are you doing with his records and likeness?
Well, what's nice is that Bob thought very heavily about what was going to happen when he was gone. He had a small group of friends around him. Well, he had a big group of friends, but a small group of friends around him to set up the foundation. He endowed the foundation with everything. In other words, his likeness, all of his intellectual property, all of his documents, awards, photos, so forth and so on. They are now being caretaken by the director of the San Diego Air and Space Museum, Jim Kidrick, and we're making sure that everything that Bob left us will be saved for future generations, and will have the ability to inspire aviators of tomorrow, the day after that, and so on.
Well, we're looking forward to that future. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you.
After the break, we continue our annual interview with EAA boss Jack Pelton.
We're really looking forward to seeing you live and in person at Oshkosh this year. And to help you celebrate, we're having our biggest sale of the year. You can receive 23% off any King Schools course from right now up through August 4th. Just go to our website, kingschools.com, and use the code word AIRSHOW.
Folks, as Martha just said, you can save 23% right now on all King Schools courses.
Air Aviation 6.2 is a fast, roomy composite sport plane. 185 knots, 6 seats, trike-gear floats, and carbon fiber strength. This is a no-excuses airplane. 52-inch wide cabin with baggage space, 325 horsepower Lycoming power, 2,000-pound useful load, 840 nautical mile range with reserve, a 62-knot stall, and a service ceiling of 15,700 feet. Check out the 6.2 at compairaviation.com.
Unbridled passion, unequaled performance, unlimited possibilities.
Hartzell Aviation, you are cleared for takeoff.
Introducing Hartzell Aviation, leading general aviation companies united by the Hartzell guiding principle of built on honor, a commitment to uphold the highest standards in quality, performance, and support. Hartzell Propeller, Hartzell Engine Tech, Hartzell Aerospace Welding. We are Hartzell Aviation.
Now boarding at hartzellaviation.com.
Welcome back. Every year before AirVenture, we sit down with EAA CEO Jack Pelton to discuss the week ahead. In our next segment with Jack, the EAA boss gets a chance to crow about the new EAA Education Center and the extraordinary effort that put it together.
And then, of course, our grand new addition to our museum, our EAA Education Center. We cut the ribbon on that July 12th. It's up and running, and we couldn't be more proud of how it came out, and so thankful for our donors. It was all funded on donor money, not a penny from EA or the membership, which is, I think, a remarkable testament to people believing in our mission. And we've divided it in 3 sections. There's the Pilot Proficiency Center. It came about with Joe Brown, who has been a big supporter of the pilot proficiency activity during AirVenture. He said, Jack, we've got these simulators. We really need to do this year-round. And it started in a very homegrown, let's just institutionalize out on the four corners, put a lean-to building, if you will, and have it be around. It's like, Joe, here in the winter, to get from here to there in the winter isn't possible if the building isn't heated, paved, plowed, and all that other stuff. So then we thought about, okay, addition to the museum, our folks who are involved in Kid Venture, a lot of our donors who are really passionate about that said, hey, we think you should be doing Kid Venture kinds of stuff year-round. So that got mixed into the hopper. And then we just don't have adequate conference space around here to have type club meetings and that stuff. So that's the three kind of pillars of what constitutes the 30,000 square feet that we put on. And we got it all done, and it's built to really be test the time as far as modern. It's got the technology with the electronics and ways of teaching that's more in track with what kids are learning today. Hands-on, but all the goodies that you need. So we're very excited about it.
What kind of activity do you foresee for the Education Center? How do you pace that?
The Education Center has 5 STEM hands-on learning labs, and we have them kind of pre-designated with courses we've already created, one on power plants, one on avionics and electronics. We have a wind tunnel in there that the kids will get to actually see how a wind tunnel functions and learn about aerodynamics. It was a very, very old wind tunnel that Embry-Riddle donated to us. We have some hands-on both rib making and sheet metal work. So we've got 3D printing that they'll be doing. So it's very interactive, and that's what we really wanted to have as kids. And there's classrooms across the hall from that. So they're up and running, and our Air Academy camps that have been going on this summer are actually in the facility and using it.
Excellent. Where do you see it going from here?
There's so much more to do. When we launched this, I declared it was phase 1 of 3 phases for museum renovation. We still now need to get in and modernize the museum. We have so many artifacts that we just don't have room to display. So it doesn't necessarily mean we have to expand it, but we've got to come up a way with rotating things and having better places to put the ones that aren't on display at the time. So I can see possibly an area right next to the museum that's not as fancy and nice, but kind of like the old Garber Restoration Center at the Smithsonian, where people can come in and still see all the stuff that we have buried in hangars all over the site that they don't have access to. If you walk the grounds today and you see all these airplanes that are out there, those are ones we've pulled out of storage. So I think that's going to be important. And then, general technology improvements in the museum. I'd still like to see. I visit a lot of museums in my spare time. I love history. Some of the ones you go to, like the presidential libraries, self-guided, your docent's in your ear and you can walk around and hear the story in the voices of the people that made the story. We can do a lot in that area, an awful lot.
Tomorrow, ANN's in-depth interview continues with Jack as they discuss Mosaic, the FAA, Aviation Association cooperation, and many other aerocritical topics.
Mosaic, we've made really good progress. There's been a lot of people in the FAA working on it, creating the actual rulemaking. We've been at the table with them in defining what that would be, along with other people from the industry. So I think it's important.
And that's the show for today. Don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, to please subscribe and check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget, you can get real-time 24/7 coverage of all the latest aviation news at aero-news.net. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another update.